This is my husband Jeffrey, and this is the sink that was leaking horribly for the last couple of months. So he has removed the faucet, and then we just remembered to try to film this. So now he's under the sink. There he is. And he's, tell him what you're doing.
I'm putting in a new ball valve, so when it shuts off the water, it shuts off the water completely without having to worry about leaks. And the problem with the current faucets and their current valves that they use rubber seals in the valves instead of a metal ball, and when you turn the valve closed, if you look inside there, you see when it's screwed down, it's pushing a metal plate in there to shut off the water. And when you open it up, it pulls that plate back. That plate sits on a rubber seal, and that rubber seal wears out over time, so it doesn't really close it.
Okay, from the wife's perspective, I want to show you, this is the mess that comes with every project. So I used the magic eraser and cleaned all that stuff. I should have shown you that before I started to see how awful it was. But these magic erasers are great. Let's see where I can get here where you can see what he's doing.
There we go. Just put in that ball valve right there.
There's not a lot of room under sinks, you know. And this big black thing that we have is a filtration system that he put in.
I need to get another rag to wipe up this water here.
Okay, and then that's actually the little faucet for the filtered water. Okay, you hold this. I'll get your rag. Talk to him.
This is the old faucet, and this is what was holding it on to the sink. And when I unscrewed this, it was full of rust and gunk that fell into my face and eyes as I was taking it apart. So recommended to always wear safety glasses whenever you're working on things around the house.
Like you didn't do.
Okay, I'm just showing what you shouldn't do, not necessarily what you should do. So now I'm going to take off the connection for the hose where it sits, and if you look up top of the sink, you should see that move.
Top of the sink. Where are we looking? Okay, let's see what he's doing under. You kind of have to be an acrobat to do this. It doesn't look really comfortable.
It's not. Is my wrench up there? Black with blue handle?
Wrench.
Oh, no, it's underneath my head. Something's leaking.
This could be an Olympic sport, you know. Because look, he's like got the legs engaged. So yeah, if you're not real limber, I don't know if this is a good job to do a DIY. Okay, and I want you to see this headlamp thing that he's got on, because he uses that all the time. I guess you can't see it yet, but I'll show you in a minute. Because there's no way you can hold a flashlight and get it right where he needs it to be. So if you don't have one of those, you need to get one. You got one at Lowe's, and I got him one on Amazon.
I think it's, yeah, can you hold that hose thing so I can try and get this unscrewed?
Hose
It's spinning
thing.
right now.
What hose thing?
See that thing turning up at the top of the sink? Next to your faucet?
Oh, yeah.
Can you hold that?
Not really.
Okay. Well,
It's slippery.
yeah, it's all plastic too.
But I need to clean that too, because it's really dirty. There's something. Is that O-ring?
That's from this. This right there. Actually,
That's
it
the
goes
sprayer.
Inside, yeah, it
that
goes
he's
inside
talking
there.
about. Know what you getting?
A new tool.
What is it?
This is used for working under the sink to loosen out your connections to your faucets. So this one has the connections there. It might help me get that out from underneath. Because this one and this one. This one's. Thank you.
Here, put it on. Let me show people. This one has a thing that goes over the head so it doesn't slip, which is really great. The other one doesn't have that.
And it has multiple lights. This is my disco version.
Okay, under he goes. So tell him what you're doing.
Using the tool to see if I can get that to attach to that piece, but it's turning. So I can't get that.
Is there something I can use to hold it?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm just not strong enough to hold that.
No. So,
You're using a tool and I'm trying to use my hand.
when you can't use normal tools, you improvise, adapt, and overcome.
He's good at that.
This is a Japanese razor saw.
Ooh, ah.
It's very similar to a American back saw that has the spline on the back to keep it straight, used for cutting 45s and other degree angles. This is the same thing with a Japanese saw, except this cuts finer and you have blades on both sides with different measurement sizes, teeth per inch. This is really nice for fine cutting off dowels once you've hooked them up. You can see how fine the teeth are. This is what we're going to use to see if we can cut something in this plastic.
Didn't you get that for Father's Day?
Yes, my son Christopher gave it to me.
Woohoo! Thank you, Christopher. Oh, so that whole thing's coming off?
And it cuts on the back, not the forward stroke.
Just please don't kill the sink. Are you just cutting the rubber or the metal?
The rubber. So, once I get that done,
Yeah, I don't get it either. That's the underside of the old sink. Yuck. It said that's plumber's putty that you put on there so that stuff doesn't get up underneath it.
there we go.
So you sawed it and then you're using the screwdriver to get it out.
Take the notch out. Have to be careful with that.
Yeah, don't. That's the hard part, is not damaging all the other stuff that's here. Which, by the way, we put up this Backsplash, which I think is so pretty. So we did that before we decided to do any filming.
Well, don't forget to show them behind the stove.
Oh, we did that one first. Which one? Ooh, ah, isn't that pretty? And here's our kitchen witch. That's just a fun thing. My mother told me about that. You always have to have a kitchen witch in your kitchen. But it, of course, does not mean a thing. We're not superstitious. It's just for fun. And Jeffrey always says you have to have the right tool for the right job. And this one is a make the right tool fit the job you want to do. Because I don't think they have a tool for get the rubber ringy thing out of the sprayer.
Now, this right here, you can hold the screwdriver at this angle where it is. I have it jammed in here so it doesn't spin on you while I'm down below trying to turn it, okay? So this should give you leverage just to hold it here. And we'll see if I can get...
So I'm just holding it.
Yes. I'm going to be underneath you, so you're going to have to do it from the side, either over here or the other side. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I out of your way enough?
If I lay on your feet, I apologize.
That's okay. I only walk on the bottom.
I appreciate that.
So what are you doing?
I'm trying to get this to attach.
I guess we need a third person to do video if I have to help.
There we go. You ready?
I don't know. I'm holding it where you said. Oh.
Is it moving on you?
A little bit. Eh. Huh.
Is it back to where it needs to be?
Yeah.
Okay. That screwdriver isn't working, is it?
Well, it went one way and then back.
Okay, it's because I turned it the other way. So, the scraper that you enjoy so much,
Yeah.
put that all the way across on both sides. Sort of like a big screwdriver in that slot,
Yeah.
and see if that'll hold it, okay?
Oh, I don't think this will hold it, baby.
No,
This-
just put downward pressure on it.
The scraper's flexible.
Just put downward pressure on it. Use the main blade as a screwdriver.
Okay, so you don't want this to move at all.
Right.
Okay.
You ready? Yes?
Yes.
There we go. It's working.
Yay. Okay, so it was the scraper and the screwdriver combo.
There's
Woohoo!
all sorts of junk falling down.
And you still don't have safety goggles on, do you? No, dear, I don't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know you don't.
Besides, that can't hear me anyway. I'm underneath the sink.
So can I let go or no?
Yep, you can pull it out.
Oh, cool. Now I get to pull it out. Look. Woohoo! Woohoo! Look at all the grime.
Ugh.
Okay, so this is the magic eraser time. And since this is filtered water, I can use a little bit of this because these things don't work unless they have some water in them.
And this is what was down there.
Well, hang on, show them. So I use this and then a scrubber sponge, which is, these are the best. whatever doesn't come off with that, the little scraper will take it off. And you said this is what was, well, that's what I pulled out. What's the thing you pulled?
That black part underneath.
Oh, the black part. That's what he was unscrewing.
That's the nut that holds this onto the sink. So what's going to happen is I'm going to push this up from above, and I need you to screw that on till it stops.
Okay. Let me put this back on here. One thing, if you shut the water off, I think would be great, is to fill up a sink so you can wash your hands. Because, by the way, that's a big part of this, is you got to shut off the water to the house.
Well, that's because we didn't have the right shut-off valves underneath. That's why I switched them to ball valves instead of spring valves.
Okay. Anyway, before you start a project like this, know where your shut-off is. So you don't have a water issue as well as a junk issue.
And make sure you open up a sink on the other side of the house to relieve the pressure so it doesn't drip whenever you have to take things apart.
That was my job. I got to open the faucets on the sink. I'm a very good helper. Huh.
Excellent.
Why didn't you show them what you were doing?
Because I was doing it while you were talking. So I put putty inside the part that Tracy's going to screw on as I lift the pipe up through underneath the sink. And this is just to seal it so water doesn't get below whenever anything happens in the kitchen.
This is what he's using. We're new at this, so he's not good at showing you what each thing is, but this is what he used to fill up that thing, so no gunk can get underneath it and cause problems. So when you put it up, do I screw it or do you screw it?
You do. And then once you do that, I'll tighten it down from underneath. You ready?
Hang on just a second. Okay. Well, I thought I had all that off, but apparently not. Okay. Are you holding it?
I'm holding it up. And then I just need you to center it through the hole because I got to tighten it from underneath. Now, just a moment. That blue tool that I used, is it over there? Thank you.
Is this going to be hard to hold when you start tightening it down?
I hope not. Just make sure it stays centered.
Well, it looked like there was quite a bit of give in it.
Well, there shouldn't be now. Try to move it.
Oh, look at you.
Okay.
Woo!
So now it's just putting the faucet together.
And I'm going to get this putty off so it doesn't dry, and then you can never get it off. 'Cause I like it to be nice and clean. And guys don't even pay attention to that stuff. Of course, this other stuff is not clean. It's amazing how much you see when you start looking. Okay. You know what? Cord goes down. Oh, that's a sprayer. What a beautiful sprayer.
And that sprayer will connect to this connector underneath the sink when we get everything put inside.
Show them the
here.
whole thing so they know it.
This is the hot water hose. This is the cold water connection that's going to connect to that hose that is already connected to it at the top.
You have to point it out, sweetie. I don't know what you're looking at.
The one to the right, there's a white hose there.
Okay.
The white hose, that's the cold water. The one next to it's the hot water. This connects to that hot water. That hose connects to this when we get it up underneath.
So if somebody doesn't know, like me, how do you know what's cold and hot water?
See this? This says caution. This is for hot water.
So it's labeled. That's what
Yes.
you're saying.
And normally the short one is hot water, the long one is cold water, and that's for your sprayer.
Short one is hot, long
And
one
if
is
you're
cold.
always concerned, look at your faucet. Hot, cold, and look at the side that it's on, left side. So when you look at it from this way, left, right.
Okay. Learn something. Backwards, isn't it?
What's backwards?
Oh, okay.
I put it this way because that's the way it came out of the box. It lays flat in the box that way.
If I don't see it right, I don't understand.
This is the plate that seals.
That he's got putty all around the outside, underside. That's ugly.
That's why we're going to cover it up.
So we even have to take the tag off.
Nope.
And that just seats over it.
Yep. And then there are two nuts
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Uh-huh.
that go to the screws that are in the inside. And this has little tabs, and you'll notice that they fit on the tool just like that. And I can go to other sizes if they're smaller if I need
What's
to.
that thing called?
This is a oh, I don't remember. It's a
blue
It's
thing.
a plumber's wrench, is what it's a plumber's wrench built by Cobalt. But it's used to remove when you're up underneath the sink and reinstall faucets because you can't get a regular socket or anything like that underneath the sink when the sink is only that far from the wall.
So somebody came up with a great gadget so that it can be done. Wasn't that sweet of them?
And this also allows you to put up to where you have to remove with the use of attachments. You can use this where the pipes and or hoses are to slide it up and twist those connections off if need be with those brass connections over there.
These?
Yes, because they fit inside of here to be used for different size nuts.
So fancy.
So
How much
it's a
was
diff-
that?
This was $20.
$20 at Lowe's. That's his favorite place. Is Lowe's. When I lived in Houston, I loved Home Depot, but here Lowe's is much better.
You can use this in different areas too for different connectors, sockets, different type of connectors. And you can also use a wrench on this if you need to get more leverage. Once you put this up, you can use that to get more leverage underneath. So that's just from watching This Old House and learning this stuff from Richard Toohey, Norm, and Tommy.
Your dad.
And my father. Yeah, he taught me a lot more.
And if you wonder why we like Lowe's better here, it's all about customer service. The Home Depot here really doesn't care if you walk in the door or not, but the Lowe's people are mostly very kind and helpful. And we live in Alabama. If you couldn't tell, because I'm being told now I have an accent. I used to not have an accent at all. Can you show them what you're looking at? Can you hold the camera up where you can see? see what you're seeing.
This is the underside of the sink, and I'm trying to put that nut on that bolt, hang it down through that hole. There's this one and that one. These are the connections for the water, and that's the connection for the hose. So what I'm working on right now is getting this put on that nut, and you can see how tight of a fit it is, because there's also this drain here that comes from the garbage disposal.
So did you get all that? Aren't we supposed to say, put a comment down below if this makes sense to you?
Shoot.
And when you drop stuff,
Make sure you drop them behind your head so you can't reach them.
so ladies, if you have your husband's doing a job, or maybe you're doing it, and your husband's watching, but be sure and see how much you should appreciate what they're doing, because this is not an easy thing. Of course, you can always just call a plumber if you want to do it that way.
It's only $125 an hour.
And this is taking you 2 hours already. But we didn't show them the first part of
No, we didn't
getting
show them the
everything.
tear down.
Yeah. And see, he's doing the Olympics pose. This is not an easy thing to crawl around under there and do all this. I'm very lucky I have a husband that can do anything.
Okay, can you center the faucet up at top? Because it's shifted.
Well, it's got some give just with that putty stuff.
Well, it's going to get tighter when I tighten these down. I'm just trying to get this started. And it shifted when I first connected it.
You need me to hold it? I'm holding it, so I guess that's okay.
On the second one on your left, my right. Is it centered?
Looks good.
It's not centered. I can see light. I shouldn't be able to see light.
Okay, you come look.
Okay.
Because I was holding this thing,
Nope.
and
It's not
I think
centered.
you were talking about the other thing. Okay, so now it's like, what does centered mean?
You've got 3 holes you got to put this on. This has to cover all 3 holes.
I didn't know that.
Now, it covers all 3 holes. Just hold that down. And it can't shift as I tighten it.
Is it gonna be hard to hold?
It shouldn't be. I'm just going to tighten this and you just pull it down.
This is making me sweat now. I'm not supposed to be sweating.
Okay, this one needs to come back.
Oh gosh, wait a minute. It went a long way. I guess I was pushing on it back.
Just push down on it.
I thought I was, sweetie. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Well, need to push it back a little bit. There you go.
I'm not a very good helper, am I?
Do what you can.
I thought I was pushing straight down, but I was pushing way towards the back because it slid a long way.
Because it has putty, which makes it slip. Okay. Woo!
sprayer has a mind of its own. It's coming alive. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. This is guaranteed to make sure you gotta do your nails, but it makes it great for getting this off right now.
Okay, the sprayer's connected.
Would you like me to do something with it? Sprayer, sprayer. And if you wonder why we're replacing this with just a basic faucet, it's because we don't have a really deep sink. So to have one of those big ones that has a sprayer on it really wouldn't have made a lot of sense. So we're just being practical. It works, and it's the right size for the sink that we have. So there you go. By the way, this is not a sexist thing, but women clean much better than guys.
That's not sexist, that's true.
I just think we pay more attention. I think a lot of men can kind of swipe at it and then say that's done, but every little bit matters. This is definitely smaller than the other one, the plate.
Yes, it is.
Because now you can see where all the grime was on the other one. I don't know if there's anything we can do about that, because it's kind of a different color.
Okay, I'll keep my good beat.
What are you doing now?
Tightening up the hoses. And then I'm going to tighten up.
Tightening up what? What are you doing?
I'm tightening up the connection hoses.
To the hot and cold water?
Yes.
We ought to hook this to your head thing. Then everybody can see what you're doing.
Well, there is a headband for that.
Well, there you go.
I need a smaller wrench.
This is going to be so nice not to have a drippy faucet. For about 3 months now, you just have to hold your mouth right and hope that it would shut off the water because it had that little drip. And Jeffrey said that was because the rubber that closes the valve off was old and decayed and
It's just worn out.
worn out. And it was 26 years old. So I think they got their money's worth for what, $2? You said? Is what those shut-off valves cost?
What?
The shut-off valves cost like $2 if you get the ones with the rubber.
Yep.
And they're $11 if you get the ones with the ball. What's it called?
The ball. It's a ball valve.
Ball valve. Can't tell at all what you're doing.
I'm tightening the hoses that feed to the water. That's the cold water. I got the hot water in. I just need to connect that to the shutoff valve, which is right here, going over to that one over there. So as soon as I get my face out of the garbage disposal and move over here.
You can't be proud when you do jobs like this. You just gotta
This
move.
is a compression valve, or a compression connection that goes to the valve. By removing that, I can connect the screw connector directly to the valve, because it replaces this piece right here.
Did y'all get that?
I'll show you as I screw it in.
Okay.
There's a roll of plumber's tape that I need to get.
Oh, you can tell me. I'll get it. You tell me where it is.
This is plumber's tape. It's nylon. You wrap this around the threads that you're going to attach your hose or whatever to that water's running through, and this helps create a waterproof seal.
So Scotch tape will not do.
No, neither will masking tape.
Okay. Right tool for the right job. Or right tape for the right job. No.
Sorry. This is such a tight corner. And I only have 2 hands and 2 arms to rest on.
This is definitely over the shoulder shot. Since I'm resting on your shoulder.
Well, if I could see, that would be perfect. Is it going on there?
I don't know. I can't see.
Neither can I.
Did your head thing go off?
No, I just can't put my head up to see because it's an awkward position for me.
You want me to get the phone and or a flashlight?
Oh, it worked! Woohoo!
So you did that
All blinded.
without looking.
Yes. And now I'm screwing this on.
What on?
I'm screwing the valve hose to the valve. If I can get it started.
It's like grease.
Feel your way.
Didn't work.
Well, if there's too much tape, it doesn't get a grab.
So you took some tape off?
Yep, right there. There we go.
Okay. You're not very good at telling them what you're doing.
Oh,
So,
can you see where the 9/16 wrench is?
like, I know what that
It
is.
says 9/16 on the front.
9/16.
It should be separated. It should be laid off.
5/15.
See a wrench laying around?
8/5.
Actually, that's 5/8.
9/16.
There you go. And now I need the 5/8 because that's not fit either.
5/8.
Not the 8/5, but the 5/8.
Is it little bitty?
It's a little bit larger than this. It's the next size up.
5/8.
We just had it over there where you said 8/5.
You said 5/8.
Yes, baby, that's 5/8, not 8/5.
What'd you use, 38?
38, 39, whatever it took.
Oh, because I had it upside down.
That you're leaving in the tape.
Well, crap. I did read it right. It was just turned around.
If you read it right, it would have been 5/8.
Okay, I'm a little challenged when it comes to tools.
Yep, she uses shoes to knock in
Pins.
needles
And they work.
to the wall to hang stuff.
If y'all didn't know that, instead of using a big old nail to put into your wall, use a needle. Because
There
you
we
can't
go.
even see it. So the things we put up at Christmas, those needles stay up all year. You don't see them in the wall.
Okay, these valves are shut. You can tell because they go perpendicular to the hose or to the valve. So you know that they're shut off. So if I turn the water on and these don't leak, we're good to go. As long as they don't leak before the valve. If they leak before the valve, we've got an issue.
If they leak at all, we've got an issue.
Well, but they should only leak before the valve, because that's where the water's going to come in.
Well, I need your light, because I can't see.
I'm going to go turn the water on.
And he's actually doing the water from the house.
Where's your phone?
By the chair. I love this part. When he was doing the one in the bathroom, he said, stand away, because it may blow up in your face.
I'm going to go turn the water on. If it's leaking, let me know.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Okay, so he's going out in the front to turn the water back on, and I'm watching to see if there's any leaking. And he said this is the most important part, is double check, triple check. Do it 10 times if you have to make sure you do not have a leak. Our neighbor flooded, I think, his kitchen and his living room, and they had pods for months while they were trying to replace the flooring, just because he had one leak that he didn't catch.
Yeah, it happened while they were sleeping.
Was he putting in a water filtration? I thought that's what he was doing.
Yes, it was water filtration. You ready?
Oh, well, I don't know.
I'm turning it on.
No, leak, leak, leak. You can hear the water coming in. It's right there.
Right where?
Right there. There's a drop coming off right there, but it came right down there.
Well, I need to get in there. Unless you want to fix it.
I don't know what you're doing. That would be a no.
So it was underneath the valve.
See, now you can see it.
Yeah, I can see where the drip is.
Okay. So now what? That's the old thing coming into the new thing?
Yep.
That's a technical term.
Yes, it is.
You know, the old thingy and the new thingy. What are you doing?
Checking the wrenches that I have, because this is a 2-1 and this is a
Stop it.
16-9. I just want to make sure I have the right 8.5.
See, that was a dig too, wasn't it?
What?
And I didn't even know. That's what's really sad. Because it juts out.
Yes, it does.
Ugh. So you're taking everything off?
I don't know yet. Let's see if I can get this. And this is loosening it right here. So, you'll notice that there's no plumber's tape on those threads.
But it should have plumber's tape.
Yes, it should.
And that can make all the difference.
Yes, it can.
I learned that when I was changing out a shower head. Is you could not stop the drip without tape.
No matter how much you try with masking, it's not the right kind.
I didn't use masking, I didn't use any. And then when I added a little bit of plumber's tape, now does that disintegrate over time?
No, it's nylon. It fills the voids that the threads don't necessarily cover really well. And you don't need a lot, just a little bit, and make sure you don't over cover the hole. That's it. Now I wish I could see what's going on, but I can't.
I'm about to have sweat roll in my eye. And I'm not even doing the work.
flat side to this. That's what I'm trying to connect on.
Flat side to what?
The back of this, where there's a flat side here, where my finger is, and there's one on the other side, so you can put a wrench on it to stop it from twisting when you tighten it down. And that's what I'm trying to do, is to get a hold of that so I can put the wrench on this part
Am I in your way?
here so I can get it. No, I just need to figure out if I have the right size wrench, and I don't think I do. Sometimes that 8/5 just doesn't fit.
You know, we're gonna have words
Loving words, that's what we're gonna have.
because it juts out.
That's right.
You'll have to explain that. Or not.
Maybe at a later date.
Okay, that's a teaser. That's a running joke with us. It juts out. That's the answer. Don't believe it.
Okay, that, I believe, is tight.
That's
So-
gonna do it.
We're gonna try it one more time.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Ugh. Okay, take two.
Well, I had you up to the wrong ear. That's why I couldn't hear you.
Well, that's a problem.
I don't know why.
He had brain surgery, which I'm doing the video on that now of his recovery, and he lost hearing in one side. So I'll put a link in the description, and I'll see if I can figure out the end cards so you can see that if you want to. He's had a miraculous recovery, and he's just doing so well.
So, you ready?
We'll see. I'm watching. There's the whoosh. Oh, I got drops.
Same place?
I think so.
Is it still dripping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wasn't the stream of drips like before. That's good. Making progress. Y'all, any projects you do at home, count double time for what you think it's going to take you, and be patient. Don't ever get short with each other. It can actually be a lot of fun as projects together, as long as you don't yell at each other. I was telling them to be patient and not yell at each other when you're doing projects. So what were you saying?
I was saying that the cause of the drip can be one of two things.
It's right there.
It can be that compression valve, not the valve itself, but the compression ring that is under the valve is worn out. And that means I have to remove it and use this new one to seal it up. Or there's just more tightening that I have to do, and I don't think there's more tightening that I have to do.
It looks like you had it pretty tight.
Yeah, I think it's just worn out. So that means I've got to cut off the compression valve, the old compression valve, and put on a new one.
And you got enough pipe to do all that?
I
Hose
hope so.
to do all that?
Well, if you go down a little bit, where, see how much pipe is there?
Yeah.
I have to cut off where the compression valve is and put this one, the new one, on, and then reattach it. And that old one could just be wear out. You can see all the marks on it.
Well, and it's also, it looks rusted,
That's the brass underneath.
so it's okay.
Yep. So let me go ahead and replace that. Let me get my pipe cutter.
Okay, so now he's cutting the pipe.
Not yet.
You just tell him what you did.
I just disconnected the valve. I'm trying to get the compression ring off. got to use this miniature pipe cutter to remove this.
How many people have a miniature pipe cutter?
Me? I've got 4 pipe cutters. Okay, so now we'll tighten this down. You need to make sure that you have your cutter on the pipe. It's hard for me to see. And as you make it, you tighten down your pipe cutter. I don't know if I can because that. And I don't know how much pipe I'm going to have left. So in order to cut this, I have to cut it below here.
What are you doing?
I'm loosening it.
So it's got more space to get around the pipe?
Let's see. Well, I don't know where I can get around it because no matter how small it is, I've got 2 things that are in the way. The compression ring and the nut.
They didn't give you much space to work down there.
Nope. And every time you make a circular motion, you've got to tighten down your wrench. Because that wheel is what cuts the pipe inside it. And if I don't have enough, I have to go get some pipe and solder it in. I don't like soldering around wood.
Fire!
Fire and wood don't mix very well,
No.
especially in kitchen cabinets.
So you just keep going round and round and that's cutting the pipe?
Yep.
Can that nut come off?
No, because of the compression ring.
Oh. So once it's on, it's on.
Yep. The compression ring, when it meets, it actually causes the pipe to compress.
And that's the whole point. Since you have so much water pressure, you don't want it to come off ever.
Right. Ta-da.
So what you got?
This is the nut that attaches to the bottom side of your valve. That's what this does. This compression ring goes around the pipe. When you put it on and you put this in, it compresses it, and because it forces it into here, this steel, with this steel, it compresses the copper and seals it around, and seals this inside here. So you notice how far down it is. You have that much of your copper into your valve, which should be, if you look, you'll see it all the way inside. That's how a compression valve works. Once it compresses, you can't remove it. And you'll notice how much pipe we have left.
Not much.
Nope.
Wow.
So I either solder on more pipe and put the valve on that, or I try and use that. My recommendation, solder on more pipe.
So that wouldn't be enough?
That's how much we need. And that's how much we've got.
You're the expert, darling. Whatever
got-
you think.
3/8 of an inch. And this would fit there, but I have to clean that off and it won't fit very well. This barely fits onto it because of all the corrosion and everything. So I need to resolder a pipe. So I gotta go to Lowe's and get a pipe, get some solder.
Third time to Lowe's. It's not a job done till it's 3 trips.
Okay.
Okay, so what is all this? Jeffrey just got back from his 3rd trip to Lowe's, which is the rule. You have to have 3 trips for every project. So what'd you get?
We bought a valve that has 1 input and 2 output. So it's a 1/2 inch in and 3/8 out. This is pipes that goes to your sink or your dishwasher. That's what this one is for. And it has a single ball valve in here to shut it off. As you can see, it's a 1/4 turn, which is great. Now this is a push connection, not compression or soldering or anything like that. What you do is you have certain specifications that you have to put on it. I have to clean the pipe 9.95 of an inch back to make sure it's deburred, which is removing any type of bumps, dirt, grime, or anything else, both inside and outside of the pipe. And by doing that, you have to mark how far that 9/5 is. So that's what I have these calipers here for, to measure that and mark it. This is a new tool, so I'm really happy.
Ooh, ah.
If you turn it on, it says 0.95 of an inch. And that's the distance on the inside here.
New tools.
Yep.
Every project comes with new
These
tools.
brushes are used for deburring the pipe inside and out to make sure this connection does not fail. And I just bought a new blade for my oscillating saw because you have to make sure your cut is as straight as possible for this connection. So that's what we're going to do. And you don't want it to go too fast, so I have it on the lowest setting right now. And that's the noise it's going to make before it even touches the metal.
Okay, so my concern was that you said the compression thing, make sure it keeps it on so when the water pressure goes through, it doesn't blow it off.
No, the compression ring is for reducing the pipe so it seals it. It's
Okay.
not necessarily stopping it from blowing off, it seals it.
So how does this one seal it as opposed to the other one?
The internal workings of this right here is what seals it. I don't know, I haven't torn one apart. But I'm trusting them because it's guaranteed for the life that it will not leak.
We like that. No
So,
leaks.
I just need to make sure I follow their instructions to install it properly, which is what I'm doing.
Alrighty. And don't look at the trash in the kitchen for all the other projects that have been going on.
It's me going down here to start cutting the pipe.
So hopefully you can see what's going on in here with the light he brought in.
And because you're in the cabinet, it will get loud.
Do you have safety goggles on, baby? Stop. Stop. Go put your glasses on.
Those are
Put
reading
something
glasses.
over your eyes. Because if there's any metal stuff, yeah.
Is that better?
That's what he wants to do. Protect those pretty eyes. Okay, so he's going to go get something for his eyeballs. I can tell that's dangerous because if you're sawing something off and any little pieces start flying, that would be a bad thing. So, safety first. We don't want to have to go to the ER this afternoon. Okay, so now he has his safety goggles. Safety first. More accidents happen at home than anywhere else. Are you through it?
Almost. There we go.
Let's turn the water on and see what happens.
It'll come right at you. Okay, so what I need to do now is make another cut right behind this part right here.
What?
Well, I can't have it here because water will shoot out here. I need to put the valve back here. Just like this valve is here, this one needs to come off this
You're
one.
scaring me that you're cutting off all the pipes.
Well, I have more than an inch there, and that's all I need is 9/5 or 0.95 of a pipe.
Okay, do you have a plan B if something doesn't work?
If something doesn't work, then I solder on a pipe here. And I go get another bivalve.
No more trips to Lowe's. You've met your quota for this project.
So this is why it works.
You're positive. You've thought
Yes.
this whole thing through.
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's going on here before he starts, because I don't know if I can get in there to see it. This makes me nervous.
Makes you nervous?
Yeah. I mean, you're cutting the whole pipe off.
Not all of it.
Why do you have to cut any of it?
Because I can't take the compression off and I have to cut behind that T intersection.
There's nothing that can attach to that T intersection?
No, I don't have enough pipe. I either solder, involving fire next to wood, or I use this valve that I've got. And I'd rather use it instead of a compression.
And if you cut that off, you have enough to attach that thing you got?
Yes.
It just doesn't look like that much. I'm scared. Okay, so now he's measuring, just to be sure.
To put my wife's mind at ease.
Yeah, because I'm the worrywart.
Now, from the wall to where I have to cut, which is hard to show you because I have all this stuff on me, that is 1 3/8 of an inch from this plate to where I have to cut the pipe. So that gives me 3/8 of an inch extra.
That's not much.
No, it's not much. But the other way to do it is cut off that T intersection, add a couple of inches of pipe, but that means I have to solder, which I can do. Well,
Because if it doesn't work, we have no water in the house.
oh, we'll always have water in the house. I can always just stop that. You won't have hot water in the kitchen until I fix it.
Okay, so that's good to know.
That's not working well.
Why are you not using the pipe cutter for that?
Because the pipe cutter is going to make me take off an extra 1/4 of an inch that I don't have.
See, that's good to know.
I got the pipe off.
Good.
Now I just have to clean the sucker. Now we get to deburr the pipe. Okay, now comes the deburring. It's removing all this gunk that's on the pipe right now and making it all clean to copper. Just to clean the inside and out. Well, that doesn't look clean at all, does it? Let's get some gloves on the hands. Okay, got the gloves on so we don't get wires into the skin because those little boys are sharp. It's cleaned the inside pretty well. You can see where the copper is. As you get further in. See how that looks. Oh yeah, the inside's looking nice and clean. Just need to get further inside it. Ooh, that's getting nice and hot, isn't it? Let's see if we got stuff off the bottom. Yeah, we did. Looks like that thinned out the pipe a little bit, didn't it? Yeah, just a little bit. So that's how far we gotta go. With the calipers, we now mark the distance that it has to go, which is right there. And I don't know if you can see that little mark. And we go this way. That's the distance we have to go. And if I don't get that distance, I don't know if it's going to leak. So this is trying a new piece that I've never used before, and we're going to see if it works. Now, with my needle nose pliers, we hold it. Did I get it? It's got our nylon tape on there. And that's not long enough, is it? It's on.
That was quick. So you're not sure?
I can't tell. I can't see the marks that I put on there because of scratching that I did cleaning the
Well,
pipe
take a
up.
picture.
I'm satisfied with it.
I want you thrilled with it.
The problem is the hose for the hot water won't reach it because it's sitting so much lower, and that's the longest hose they've got, so I've got to get an extension.
It's always something.
So here we go with the nylon thread or nylon tape. Tight. I gotta go get an extension for that thing.
Okay, so it was 4 trips to Lowe's on this project, so it's going to be a super great project.
Well, by putting that double valve in where we did, it lowered it significantly from where they were placed before. So that means the 20-inch hose, which is the longest, does not reach it. So instead of buying an extra valve for however many dollars and trying to figure a way to connect them all, I just bought the smallest hose that they got which is the 12-inch hose. This goes to the valve nearest the wall. This goes to the sink hose that connects it, and this feeds both. So we're good to go. It's what I used to call in the military and what other people used to call, it's jerry-rigging it, and that's what we're doing.
I think they had another name for that in the military.
Not when I was in the military, it was jerry-rigging. And I was in Germany when that happened, and it was derogatory to the Germans because during World War II they called them jerrys, and because they ran out of supplies, they would use whatever they could to make things work, i.e. jerry-rigging.
Okay. Well, here, put this around so they can see what you're doing.
So, first of all, we're going to connect this hose to this tap or valve. And using the 8/5 wrench, we're going to tighten it down. You know you're getting close to it being tight when the hose starts turning. There we go. And now we tighten this wrench, although it doesn't need to be this long anymore. The 20-inch hose to this end of the valve here. And using the 8/5 wrench, we're going to secure it down. And there we have it. I think that's open, but we're going to see if it all works. Tracy gets to look, and I get to go turn the water on.
Hello.
So I'm going to turn the water on slow, and if I need to turn it off, let me know.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Stop.
Did it shoot off?
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
So I was watching back there, and it came out here,
Came out where?
right here. You see what I'm pointing at?
I think so. Came out the bottom of the second valve.
This. Right here,
Okay.
where it's leaking. I don't know if they can see that. You have to check and see if they can see that.
So was it blowing out the bottom of it or the top?
It went psh. It went everywhere. That's why I was kind of caught off guard, because I was looking at for it to just have one little leak.
So the faucet down below here didn't leak.
I don't think so. I was startled by the spray, so.
This is a compression coupler, so there's nothing here for that rubber to sit with, and by sitting it actually seals it. It just goes inside. It doesn't stop water from shooting out because it's not sealed. It's got to be an adapter from a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch, or 3/8.
Another trip?
We got to find that.
It's a fun project.
Only because I love you, baby.
This is for us. This is the kitchen sink.
Yes,
We're trying
I
to
know.
do without.
I know, but I'd love with the drip for a few years.
No.
So here we go, waiting for that to happen. Now comes the truth. We'll have to see what happens.